In 1962, a young American man named Alfred Korn was in his first year at university, and he was struck by the wide variety of ideas and worldviews he was encountering on campus. As a result, he found himself struggling with the Christian faith in which he had been raised, and he worried that he might actually be in the early stages of losing his faith. Well, he had recently read an unusual short story by the Catholic writer Flannery O'Connor, and there was something about it that seemed relevant to what he was wrestling with. So he decided to write her to ask her advice. And to his great surprise, she gave a very thoughtful and lengthy response. And if you bear with me, I'd like to read a few lines from her letter, because I think she highlights something very important, which is just as relevant today as it was back in 1962. She said, "As a freshman in college, you are bombarded with new ideas, or rather pieces of ideas, new frames of reference, an activation of the intellectual life which is only beginning, but which is already running ahead of your lived experience. After a year of this, you think you cannot believe." And she went on, "What kept me a skeptic in college was precisely my Christian faith. It always said, wait, don't bite on this. Get a wider picture. Continue to read. If you want your faith, you have to work for it. It is a gift, but for very few it is a gift given without any demand for equal time devoted to its cultivation. For every book you read that is anti-Christian, make it your business to read one that presents the other side of the picture. If one isn't satisfactory, read others. Don't think that you have to abandon reason to be a Christian. To find out about faith, you have to go to the people who have it. And you have to go to the most intelligent ones if you're going to stand up intellectually to agnostics and the general run of pagans that you're going to find in the majority of people around you. Even in the life of a Christian, faith rises and falls like the tides of an invisible sea. It's there even when you can't see it or feel it, if you want it to be there. You realize, I think, that faith is more valuable, more mysterious, altogether more immense than anything you can learn or decide upon in college. Learn what you can, but cultivate Christian skepticism. It will keep you free, not free to do anything you please, but free to be formed by something larger than your own intellect or the intellects of those around you." And so I echo her remarks to those of you who are studying at high school or university. Don't believe the stereotype that faith is in conflict with reason or intelligence. On the contrary, some of the most brilliant people I know are deeply committed Catholics. Put in the work necessary to maintain your faith on campus. It will serve you in ways you might not realize, and it will free you from being pulled into every latest intellectual fad that crosses your path. I know that the efforts you make in this regard will likely also help some of your fellow students who themselves may be wrestling with their faith, and for whom your witness may be just the spark they need to open themselves to the Lord once more. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, be a saint.